The South African National Civic Organization in Gauteng is calling for the province's Premier David Makhura to step aside. This comes after a former health MEC told an inquest into the Life Esidimeni tragedy that Makhura took the decision to transfer hundreds of mental health patients to other facilities. A number of them died during this process. The organization says Makhura being implicated proves he's incompetent. It also wants the ANC to act should he refuse to step aside. Let's discuss this with Sanco's spokesperson Thamsanqa Kenke. Thamsanqa, thank you so much for making time on the lead this afternoon. You indicate in your statement that what the former health MEC David Makhura said at the inquest about David Makhura is another depiction of who the Premier is. What do you mean?
Thanks for having me, by the way. Look, there is a history of non-accountability in Gauteng, and especially with regards to within the office of the Premier of Gauteng, David Makhura. So when we say it is a depiction of who he is, we simply say every time something bad happens in Gauteng, it's either government officials who will take the blame, who will follow their sword, or it's the members of his executive council who will be blamed. Whereas even there is evidence that he is implicated, when there is evidence that he was involved, but all the time, it is only the Premier who is the cleanest government public rep in Gauteng. So when we say it is a depiction of who he is, it's clear that even in this case, he refused to take blame of what is happening up until David exposed the inquest, exposed in the inquest that was done. So we are saying enough is enough. Something must happen at this stage.
Yeah. Is there evidence, though, to suggest that he's the one that took the decision, or do you want him to step aside based on what the former MEC said?
This is interesting. There is a precedent that was set in Gauteng. I mean, when you go back just a little, not even that far, with regard to the matter of Dr. Bandile Masu, even before evidence was supplied, was provided that indeed he was guilty of whatever he was accused of, but he has to step aside. So we are saying that this allegation that have been made about the Premier, they are too much sensitive that he can just be allowed to continue as if nothing has happened. So let him step aside in the same way that others have stepped aside in Gauteng. So it's not something new. There's nothing new that will be happening if the Premier steps aside based on allegations that have been put upon him.
What responsibility must the former MEC take herself? She said she must be, in fact, this is what you said in your statement, that she must be commended for her bravery. What about how she handled that tragedy was commendable and brave?
Well, in reality, the tragedy itself, there is nothing commendable with regard to that. We are only saying the fact that finally she has been able to pinpoint who is responsible for this mess that we are in. But remember, when during the commission of the then Deputy Chief Justice, what Mekadani said, she spoke of collective responsibility of what had happened. So when you speak of collective responsibility, you do not single out people. But what she did in recent times, what she did yesterday actually, on Monday, she then went a little bit further by saying this is the person who had the final say with regard to this transfer. And for that bravery, because the Premier has always been this untouchable person in Gauteng. For her to arrive at that stage whereby she was brave enough to mention the person who was responsible for this, we say it's commendable. People are afraid in Gauteng. People are afraid to speak in Gauteng because for whatever reason that they know, but people do not want to speak. So for her to finally say such about the Premier is commendable.
But I'm asking about the responsibility that she must also take. She was the political head, right? She went against the advice and warning by medical experts. She lied and said the department had no money to pay Life Esidimeni, even though Barbara Creasy, who was finance MEC at the time in Gauteng, contradicted that. That's not commendable and brave.
Maybe you are not understanding me, Clement. I am saying we are only commending her for her stance to finally say who is responsible for this mess, who the final person who had the authority to decide that people must be transferred to these bogus NGOs. But with regards to whoever is guilty, if Mekadani is guilty, if David Makhura is guilty, if there are officials who are guilty, let the law take its course. We are only commenting her, we are only appreciating her bravery with regards to mentioning the premier in the inquest that was made. Right. That's the only way where we are commending her. But with regards to what happened, we cannot. It's a tragedy. It will be inhuman for us to say what happened there. We must commend people for what happened. Everyone who is responsible for that tragedy, they must be brought to book. That's what is saying.
Do you think she's responsible?
I think investigations are underway.
Oh, so her investigations must be underway, but with the Premier, you want the Premier to step aside, even though there is no concrete evidence really except this word from the former Premier.
Somewhere to step aside because of this same mess of Life Esidimeni. So she's no longer a public rep as we speak. I'm not sure her whereabouts, but she's not around. If at all she was still around, we will still be saying let the MEC that has stepped aside, but unfortunately or fortunately she's not around anymore. The person who's still there is the Premier. We are saying he must take responsibility for the mess that happened, that tragedy.